Hello you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. It has been so long since I have done a Q&A on my channel. Like, I'm literally thinking probably years, and what better time in my life than right now to do a Q&A, because I feel like I have so much to catch you guys up on. If you happen to just stumble upon this video, you might want to go back a few just to give you a quick little rundown. My name is Adrienne, and after 6 years I have decided to leave living in South Korea and go back to the USA after 6 years. So it's definitely a huge life change. I moved to Korea right after college, so it will be my first time experiencing like real adulthood in the States. I did post a video earlier this year just going into more depth about my decision, so I will have that video linked here if you want to check that out after. This may end up being a two-part video because I have a lot to talk about. I have compiled so many questions that I can't wait to get through, but before we do that, I'm going to pour ourselves a little summer drink. I'm just drinking one of these little hydration packs, and it is lemon lime because I was very much in the mood for like a lemonade vibe. All right, let's give her a try. That was so good. All right, now that we have our drink acquired, we can officially get on into the questions. So the first little category I am going to get started with is the moving back prep, because that is a huge part of it. I have already talked about this in a different video, but I just wanted to answer the question again. Why did you decide to move back to the US after 6 years in Korea? Truthfully, guys, it was just time. I think I had been feeling stagnant since 2023, but when you start feeling like that in life, you can't really just like up and move a lot of the time because, you know, it takes a lot of thinking to do. So I gave myself maybe like another year or so of thinking, and then I realized, okay, these feelings aren't really going away. And it was in 2024 that I really did decide, okay, it was my time to start thinking about seriously going back. And also, as you guys know, I got out of a long-term relationship last year, a 4-year relationship. And I think after that, my entire like mindset frame, like mind frame, I don't know, just changed. And I know that sounds cliche, but I really think I connected some puzzle pieces, and I realized that I don't think I'm going to find my forever person in Korea. And I know that sounds like so dramatic, and I'm not out here like actively hunting for a husband right now, but I think when you get to my age, like 28, you have to really actually start thinking about those things, versus when I was 22 and I went out there, you know, starting a family was the last thing I was thinking about, and it's still not something I'm trying to do like this year, next year. But I just could no longer envision myself having that phase of my life in Korea. Was this a hard decision to make? This is such a good question, because I have been telling people it was like the easiest hard decision of my life when I finally decided, like when I finally had that conversation with myself and started actually telling other people, okay, I'm moving back. That was a very easy decision because all the clear signs were in front of me. But just because it was a clear, easy decision does not mean that it was hard, because I was also, you know, realizing how much I was going to be giving up and how much my life was going to change. So obviously, like, there was hard parts to the decision, but the actual decision itself, when like the stars aligned, it was an easy choice. Okay, this I did not really talk much about in previous videos, but what factors influenced your choice to leave? Now, I could literally spend so much time on this question. I'd say my mental health was a big thing that made me make the decision to go back to the States. And, you know, I don't talk about that much stuff on my channel about that. I did in my previous video, so feel free to check that out. I realized that I would probably be able to help those issues if I moved to somewhere new. Career, I can't even tell you guys how many people like myself decide to go back to our home country just because the career possibilities in Korea are limited. And I was so grateful because I had such a fun job. You guys saw like all the really fun things I got to do. But as I said, I just started feeling really stagnant, and I genuinely feel like I have had the chance to live out a dream job in Korea, but I don't see that dream job like lasting forever. And once again, it just all goes back to like feeling stagnant. Final reason was definitely wanting to, you know, just be closer to family and friends. I'd been gone for 6 years, and a lot of my friends are actually parents now. Like 3 of my friends have 2 kids each. So, you know, I want to see those kids grow up, and I want to see my parents more, not just over the holidays. Honestly, I didn't really get that homesick for most of the 6 years. It was really just like the last year or so that I felt homesickness. Next question is, how are you feeling emotionally about your move? Well, if you guys have not seen my recent couple of videos, there's definitely been so many tears, like so many. So I've definitely been letting out all the emotions, and the trend has been, I feel very emotional when it comes to thinking about leaving my friends. Emotional leaving my friends, but at the same time, I don't have a sliver of doubt that I should be changing locations in my life right now. It just like totally feels right. And if you've ever done a big move like this and you've had that feeling, then you know what I mean. But like, you just know when it's time to enter a new chapter, you just know. What are you going to be doing with all your stuff in Korea? That's a really good question. Getting rid of it, selling it, shipping some stuff back, but I have a moving vlog coming very soon, so you guys will get to see more of that. And then how are you handling things like visa, health insurance, housing? So I have like my US insurance set up. Obviously, like I have to buy a policy because I'm not working for a company myself. So I have that set up, and apartment hunting is going to be happening very soon. And I will be living in an apartment in the US pretty much immediately after I get back. Honestly, like it has been less overwhelming preparing for than I expected, but I think that's because I also had a lot of time to mentally prepare. I don't know if you guys can tell how sweaty I am. We're just gonna pretend that it's like dewy glass skin, okay? All right, let's talk about leaving Korea itself, because obviously it's a big deal. I know a lot of you guys are like sad that the Korea vlogs won't be as common on my channel, but let's talk about it. So the first question is, what will you miss the most about living in Korea? That is a very loaded question, and I don't know if this is the answer people are looking for, but I'm just gonna miss my life. I mean, having a whole life somewhere for 6 years after you finish college in a foreign country is a very wild feeling, wild thing to do. I don't know, like it still hasn't hit me that I did this. So starting with the obvious, my friends, the food, and then there's a lot of really small things. So for example, just, being able to call a clinic and usually get an appointment that day. If you're sick or if you want to get some kind of health checkup, a lot of times you can literally get an appointment that day, which I'll miss. The convenience of a lot of stuff where, if you need to get something, you can get it real quick. I'll miss the public transportation, not having to worry about the nearest bus station or subway, because so much of the time it's just right around the corner. I'm going to miss all of that. And that's like one of the really beautiful things that you get when you live in a big city like Busan. So lots and lots of things that I'm gonna miss. I know those all probably sounded so basic, but I'm just gonna miss life, like the everyday things in life. Also, I'm sure there's some people that are thinking, why would you want to leave all that? Why would you want to leave cheap rent and convenience stores? And the thing is, guys, like all that fun stuff, all that great convenience stuff comes at a cost, okay? Just like how living in America comes at a cost with the amount of freedom people have there. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere you live comes at a cost, and you cannot look at things for just their benefits, especially when you've lived there for a long period of time. So I just wanted to say that because I'm sure some people are like, why would you want to leave all that? How did your friends in Korea and your community react to the news when you told them? That's such a good question. I am so lucky, and I got literally nothing but encouragement. I didn't have a single person. I had one person, and it was someone I didn't even know, actually. It was at like some event. They were all like, go Adrienne, like it's your time. I can tell like this is something you've been wanting to do. I can't wait to visit you. We're gonna have to meet up like different places. It just makes me so happy that I have such encouraging friends. Do you feel like you have finished your chapter in Korea, or is there unfinished business? I totally feel like I have closed the chapter, my Korea chapter, perfectly. And that's why I decided like, okay, it really is time to go, because I wanted to make sure I left on this high and I didn't want to overstay. It all feels good. I don't feel like there's any unfinished business. A couple of things like I wish I could have done, but it's not like they're going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like I can always come back and do more things that I wish I could have done. But for the most part, I'm really, really content and happy with how we're closing things out here. All right, next topic is anticipating life in the USA. So what are you most looking forward to about being back in the States? Pretty much just all the things I told you guys that I miss. So, being around family and friends. I'm really looking forward to a slower paced lifestyle, living somewhere that's still a city, but a lot more quiet than Busan. I'm looking forward to fresh air, not being an outsider, because that's a very obvious and big thing that a lot of us deal with. So I'm excited just to kind of like blend in again. I'm really looking forward to having the chance to reach towards my goals more in the States, because a lot of them could not be achieved in Korea. So I'm looking forward to seeing how my career changes and how I go about reaching my goals. So lots of things to look forward to. What are you nervous about? Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm mostly nervous about maybe like just wondering how my future is going to play out, because I really have so much up in the air. But that's just like such a fun part about being single when you're 28 and you move to a new place. Like, you literally have no idea what's going to go down in your life unless you are like making a solid plan, which I'm not. I'm nervous about that. I'm a little bit nervous about the higher cost of living, but I know that's going to be okay. And stressing about money never helps the situation. So let's just say I'm nervous about having to budget my money better. Less coffee shop trips, I'll say. Those are probably the main things I'm nervous for. But for the most part, feeling more excited than nervous, which I love. All right, to wrap up this video, I'm going to answer some of my super frequently asked questions just about content and career. There were several people who I guess were under the impression somehow that I was going to like leave my YouTube channel or stop posting, and y'all, absolutely not. I've had this channel for such a long time. I started this channel when I was in high school. Took it with me to college, took it with me to Korea, and now I'm taking it back to the US. So don't worry, the vlogs are not going anywhere. I'm going to be posting a lot of like moving to America content, unpacking, show you guys my new apartment, and then I will show you guys how I'm going about transitioning, getting possibly a corporate job in the States, just like so many fun things. So my channel is really not going to change that much. It's just that my vlogs will be filmed in the States and not Korea. Will you still create Korea-related content? That's a really good question, and the answer is yes, but probably only when I go visit Korea on my YouTube channel. Then on Instagram and TikTok, I'm going to be talking more about Korea just in short form content. So I will definitely be talking more about Korea, but probably more in short form. I want to save my long form content on this channel for documenting my new life and not exactly like talking a lot about my old life, but definitely will be talking about it on Instagram and TikTok. Do you plan to travel or live abroad again in the future? So travel abroad, yes, absolutely. Avi, live abroad. I don't know. If I were to, let's say, have a job here that was like, we want to send you abroad for a year, or let's say I'm married and that were to happen to my husband, I would be super down. But the idea of like uprooting my life and going abroad just for like a change, like what I did in Korea, I don't think so, because it takes a long time to get settled somewhere like that. And right now I'm so like focused on just settling here that I can't really think about wanting to move abroad. You know, like some people, they'll move to Korea and then they'll go from Korea to Spain and stuff like that. But no, I'm ready to just like chillax in my home state, but never say never. Finally, what are your future goals for this channel? Okay, y'all, future goals, consistency, because this has been such a wild year on this channel. I've had so much happening behind the scenes. It was also a really crazy last year for me. And I definitely felt the effects of burnout from last year. I felt those effects this year. So I'm finally recovered from that, which is great. But the future on this channel, I basically shared that with you guys. You know, I'm going to be sharing a lot of my new life. And then I also just want to get more into like fun short form that makes me happy. Stuff like cooking and decor and just stuff like that. Because I feel like for so much of my past couple years in Korea, I was really clouded by a lot of bad energy that stopped me from doing stuff like that. But now it feels like that cloud is lifted. So I'm just really excited to be happy, make new content, and live my best new life in the US. Okay, I think those are all the questions I prepared. If you are still watching, first of all, you're absolutely amazing. Leave a little map emoji down in the comments so that I know that you stayed until the end. I really, really hope this video could answer some questions. I know a lot of you guys already know this, but the older I get, the more I do value my privacy. So if there's certain things I haven't talked about, number one, I could just have not like seen the question online. But number two, I just really prefer to keep some things private. If you have a question I didn't answer, feel free to leave it in the comments and I can answer it. I will probably end up doing a part 2 because there were actually a lot more questions than the ones I answered in this video. So if you have more questions, leave them below. I love you guys so, so much. It's surreal that y'all were with me for all 6 of my years in Korea. And I say this frequently, but I just really can't tell you how much that support means to me. Like, my time in Korea would have been nothing like the way it was had it not been for you guys. So thank you for staying. If you're going to stay on my channel during this new phase of life, I really appreciate it. If by chance you guys have ever lived abroad and you dealt with any of like similar feelings or issues that I mentioned in this video, I would love to hear your experiences. All of you guys have lived such cool lives, and whenever you share your stories, it literally makes me feel like I'm chatting with a friend. So please, if you've lived abroad, or if you ended up having to like up and move from a place that you spent a lot of time in, please share your story. I would love to hear. That's gonna be about it for the video. I love you guys so much. So many fun vlogs to come. I was editing one earlier today that I'm so excited to post. So I love you guys. That's it for the vlog, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye.